This is Drop and Drop Out, the weekly podcast where a mix of gamers come together to talk all about video games. This episode, we have a bonus drop for you because we are reviewing Duskfade. I'm your host, Patrick, and dropping in with me, the homie, Jake Twitchin. Jake, how we doing?
I'm doing so well, Patrick. It's so good to be here.
I mean, look, I've missed being on the other end of a podcast mic with you. And what better way to come together than to talk about the latest 3D platformer hitting the market? Is it hitting with a splash? You're going to find out here when we review the game. Thank you to Fireshine Games for providing the code to both of us. And we're going to come to you with a no BS, that's bullshit review, Jake. Before we jump in, if you're finding us for the first time because you're a little Duskfade freak, go to dropanddropoutpod.com. Join the Discord. We have a fun Discord where we talk all about video games, movies, TV, food, all sorts of things. And you can join by going to dropanddropoutpod.com. And you can get some merch, which we're dropping some new Halloween merch very soon. That's a scoop, I fear. I don't think we've said that publicly. Dropanddropoutpod.com. But Jake, we're not here.
Give me the exclusive, man. Give me the exclusive. What's going on?
Oh, we got some sick fucking merch coming down the pipeline. I'll send you some pictures after this.
Ooh.
New shirts,
of the merch or
of the merch and my.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're not here just to peddle our merch. We're here to talk about Duskfade. Jake, in fact, a little background. I didn't know about Duskfade until you were like, you have to play the Duskfade demo on Steam right now. Played it, stopped playing it because I was like, oh, this rips. I want to wait until it releases. And it is, as of today, released for you, the player, on, what is it, Switch, PlayStation? I think it's everywhere. Except probably
I'm pretty
mobile.
sure it's everywhere.
I think it's everywhere. A little bit about Duskfade. When the world is plunged into an eternal night and his sister is trapped in a mysterious clock tower by despair. That's a capital D. That's a character's name, Jake. Zirian must take up his clockwork sword and restore the fabric of time itself. Explore ethereal forests, underwater realms, and sun-scorched dunes. Each environment more breathtaking and dangerous than the last. Jake, initial thoughts. What do you think about Duskfade?
Dude, Duskfade is the first game that properly scratches my Kingdom Hearts itch.
Oh, yeah?
In like 20 years, 25 years it's been since Kingdom Hearts. I mean, think about it. Like, I feel like the closest that we've ever had to a Kingdom Hearts game that's not Kingdom Hearts or a Kingdom Hearts spinoff is like a Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth kind of have a similar battle system.
Sure.
They have that like Nomura influence there. But when you think about it, there really hasn't been a great, and I do hate this fucking term, Hearts-like.
Hearts-like is pretty good, actually.
There hasn't been one. There hasn't been a great one. I feel like I've played like random indie games and like demos and proof of concept and like, dude, I played a solid Kingdom Hearts knockoff in Dreams a billion years ago.
Yeah.
But Duskfade is just really, really good, and it wears its heart on its sleeve. And it is Kingdom Hearts is the basis, right? Like
Sure.
It's definitely screaming, this is for Kingdom Hearts fan. But you can see the inspiration that they drew from other games that I'm also obsessed with. You can see like that Jak and Daxter DNA in there, the Ratchet and Clank, and it just combines everything, and it feels so fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Hot on Duskfade.
Yeah. How far into it have you gotten so far?
So I am not that far. I am only about 3 hours in, but I also have 2 hours that I spent in the demo initially as well.
Sure.
So also worth noting, if you played the demo, those first 2 hours of the demo, those are different than the first 2 hours of the game. The first hour is about the same, but there comes a point where you walk through like a precipice or like a little loading screen, and you load into a different area. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I was so shocked because at first when I booted the game up, I was like, oh, I've realized and I remember now I hate when I have to replay the demo. And I was like 20 minutes in and immediately was getting new stuff. And I was like, oh, thank fucking God that I don't have to just redo that. And eventually I did end up redoing all of the demo, but they kind of spaced it out, which was very nice. I'm super hot on Duskfade too. I feel like you hit the nail on the head with a lot of things. I think what I would add to that is I think in addition to the Jack and Daxter, the Kingdom Hearts, the Ratchet and Clank isms this game has. Something that has just been like burrowing into my mind as I've been playing this game. Do you remember that game Oceanhorn that came out like a decade ago that was very much like a Zelda kind of
Zelda.
ripoff? I
Yeah, it was
feel
like a
like
big like iOS game for
it
a
was
bit.
started on iOS, then came to console and stuff. And I feel like what I wanted Oceanhorn to be is what Duskfade is. Of like, I feel like it has that Zelda DNA. It has the Ratchet DNA. Like it has the DNA of so many cool games, and it actually delivers, which is where I felt like Oceanhorn fell short of. I feel like it was like, oh, this is a pretty game, but it just didn't quite have like the staying power. And for me, I'm about 7 hours in, which let's say
Oh
it's more
wow.
like 6 hours. Um, Game Clock says I've done about 29% of the game, and I'm sure that includes like collectibles and stuff like that. So I feel like I've made a pretty good amount of progress in the game considering, but this like I'm still like I just unlocked like the triangle attack, like the heavy attack this far in. So I'm super interested to see where it goes from here because I feel like it's been such a slow burn to unlock stuff. But all that time, like I've just been having a really great time jumping around this world, figuring out what is going on, and like learning about the way the gameplay feels and the combat moves, and like I don't know, I'm very pleased so far with Duskade. I feel like in some ways it quite hasn't lived up to the demo's expectations being as far in as I am. But I think I would say to anybody that is watching this review, listening to other people talk about this game, I feel like if this game looks good to you, I think it is absolutely worth picking up and playing because I feel like you get it. If this game looks cool, you get what this game is. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. It is like I was saying with wearing its heart on its sleeve, what you see is very much what you get.
Yeah.
And it feels as good as it looks because that's like there are two things that come to mind when I look at Duskfade at a glance, and that is that it looks really smooth
Yeah.
and that like the locomotion seems fun. And both of those things are extremely true. LTL, let's talk locomotion.
Yeah,
Good.
dude.
Like it's insane. It
One
is
of
insane how
yeah,
satisfying it is.
one of my favorite things about this game is the flow you get into of like roll, jump, double jump, dash, and like kind of and like variations of that. Like sometimes it's just jump, dash, jump, roll. Like there, but you it feels in a way almost like this is somebody might hear this and get pissed off when they go and play it because they'll probably disagree, but it's kind of giving Insomniac Spider-Man to me sometimes of just the
Sure.
way that the locomotion feels so fluid across the world. And I feel like they've done such a good job of building a world physically of like, okay, this box here, and there's a box up there, and there's a roof up there, and I could immediately understand the language of, okay, double jump, dash, roll, jump, dash, double jump. Like they've done such a good job of teaching me how to locomote in this game, and it's so fun.
Yeah, one of my favorite things in all of video games, probably my favorite video game move that transfers from game to game. I feel like the first time I experienced it was Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
Was like the tuck, the long jump where you kind of, you press the little crouch button and you sort of slide into that lengthy jump. And I think Jack and Daxter has a really, really good one as well. That one is very strong where you sort of have that little like dodge roll almost thing. You sort of slide out and
Yeah.
forward. And this has that as well, where you get this extra length on your jump if you start that way. And like you're saying, when you're stringing that together, long jump and then double jump, or then long jump and dash, and just getting it so that you can optimize that run so you keep that momentum, it is so satisfying to perform. And then one of the things that I want to pick your brain about, and we'll probably be getting into like very light spoiler territory with power ups
Sure.
and things that add to that, because where I am, and if you play the demo, you get through, and one of the first things that you get is like a shotgun blast attack.
Yeah.
Is I think the
L1.
first thing that you get outside of your like normal kit, and then eventually you get a grapple,
Yeah.
which of course feels
Come
so
on.
good to string together with your jump and your dash and your roll jump. Anything else that you've experienced? I mean, if you've watched the trailer, this isn't really a spoiler, so don't go crazy over here as far as
Sure.
like, oh, I gotta
Yeah.
tune out and keep this all sacred.
No, for sure. I mean, really, the main other bigger one is that the triangle, the heavy attack, which one honestly. So one of my issues I've been having with the game, if you listen to Drop and Drop Out, you know that I have a very complicated relationship with Metroidvanias. Used to love them. Now I just haven't found one that I has really clicked for me. And there have been a few times in this game I've gotten a little frustrated at how much I've noticed that there must come a point in this game that I have not reached yet where they want you to go back through and kind of redo all of the levels, because the it's not like levels based in the sense of like a Mario 64 or a Mario, like Mario Sunshine, that kind of thing, but it's almost more like an Odyssey type where it's like open
Biome
zones.
comes
It's like
to
biome.
mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But all it's still kind of linear in that like you can go from one biome to the next. It's like you're always kind of going down some version of a hallway, even if that hallway is very wide. And there have been so many times that I'll come to an area and it'll be like, oh, there's the orange rocks that for hours I didn't understand how I could break. And then I got the heavy attack. It's like, oh, I can break those rocks now. Now I can go back through and go to all of those areas I wasn't able to go through before. And it's like, for some people, I think that's such a fun thing, but I'm kind of at a point
Yeah.
in my gaming journey where I don't really want to go back to those areas. I want to keep moving forward and see what else I can uncover. And so I wonder if I'm going to end up missing parts of the game for that reason, that I don't feel called to go back. I don't know.
I don't think you will. It strikes me as when you're describing this, I'm thinking about like a Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, one of the traditional 3D Zelda overworlds,
Yeah,
where you're rolling through and you see that big rock that's blocking the cave, and you're like, how the fuck do I break that big rock? It's like, oh, I need the fucking Megaton hammer,
for sure.
or like, what's that big target? How do I get above that to get to this like temple area? It's like, oh, I need the fucking hook shot. And once you get the hook shot, you have a couple different things that you can explore and you can access. If you're trying to, squeeze everything that you can out of the game and go back in 100%, you can, but for the most part, it just strikes me as like that PS2, Xbox 360 era video game. Last night I played Lord of the Rings War in the North, and this is like a
Oh, what a
bad
pull.
example, but it's the same idea of like the areas are a little bit open, but mostly you're going from point A to point B. And when you get to the end of it, you're going to hit a loading screen that's going to put you into a different area. And then you can travel back to square one to go to like your hub world, your hub town, if you will. You're in Bree in Lord of the Rings, or you're in
Mhm.
Tinkertown or whatever the fuck it's called.
Tick
In
Town, which I don't like that
That's
name
right.
either.
No, that's not right. It can't be.
It is Tick Town, unfortunately.
But I don't think that that's going to deter me from completing the game or anything like that. I don't think they're
For
going to
sure.
be like, no, you have to get every single little item and collectible in this biome before you move to the next one.
No, I agree with you there. My concern, so something that you might not have gotten to yet. So there is a hub world, as you kind of alluded to, which is I love when a game has a hub world. Like, bring back the hub world, game developers, please. But so as you kind of reach the end of these biomes, you'll have a way to like teleport back to Tick Town, and in Tick Town is a shop. And as you're getting they're like these diamondy looking. I don't remember if they have like a specific
Currency.
name, but it's currency. It's the game's currency. You have those, but then there's like a secondary currency that you find by exploring the game. That is like it's like a gear, like a cog for a clock, and a lot of the upgrades require both. It's like $2,000 and two cogs, or $1,000 and one cog. And it's like I've not found that many of the cogs, and I feel like I am exploring a good bit when I can. And so I
Yeah.
wonder if a lot of those are hidden behind these. It's like, okay, go back to World 1 now that you have the grappling hook. Go back to World 2 now that you have the heavy attack, et cetera, et cetera. But again, I just haven't made it that far to really kind of figure out the balance, as it were, of the shop. But I have, in my time, come up against a couple, like, I'd call it maybe like a friction point, where it's like, I feel like I've just not gotten a new thing in long enough that the game kind of is making me yearn for a new thing. And then I'll play for 30 minutes and then I'll get the heavy attack. It's like, okay, cool. Now I feel like I have this new thing that I can interact with the world in. But that's really one of the only like balancing issues I feel like I've been finding in my experience, that again, probably a mileage may vary situation.
Yeah, it's I hate to this is so circumstantial just because I played it last night, but to compare that to the Lord of the Rings War in the North, it is just one of those very PS2, Xbox 360, like Gen 6, Gen 7 era things of like the limited scope of the game works to its benefit and its detriment.
Sure.
Sometimes the only trick that it has left is, well, instead of rounds of enemies, you're going to have 6 rounds of enemies here. It's like to
Yeah.
pad it out a little bit. And I think for the most part, I'm fine with that. But if you can chalk that up to, its inspiration once again of those like, games of yesteryear, I feel like it still kind of plays.
Yeah.
Better to have too much of a game like this than not enough. Because one of my worries was that this game was going to be small and limited. It's always a gamble with the scope of indie games.
For sure.
You don't ever know what you're getting. I'm surprised that I spent 20 to 30 hours in some game. Other times I'm rolling credits in 3 hours and I can't believe it. But
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised when it has that old school, you start at the game and you pick one of 3 save slots. And so you can track your progress from the menu in the save slot. And I was surprised at about 6-ish hours in only being like 27, 28% in. It's like, okay, so this is going to be like what, a 20-ish hour game maybe, which is meaty, I think, for a game like
yeah,
this, which is also exciting. It's like, there it could end up being that maybe that ends up feeling a bit long depending on how the game progresses. But right now, where I'm at, I don't feel like that's going to be too long. I feel like that might be that sweet spot of like a good amount of time before it gets
yeah.
too rote, as it were.
I also think that if we're predicting the future here as we get further into the game, the more that we unlock, the more ways there are to traverse this world, the more challenging the world becomes to traverse. I think the more fun I'm going to have
For
because,
sure.
I think about Kingdom Hearts 2 and I think about why Kingdom Hearts 2 was widely regarded as like the best action RPG of all time for a very long time. And it's basically because when you start that game, you play as like a kid who lost his memories, who can hit somebody 3 times in a row. Doot, doot, doot. And that's basically all you have. And by the end of the game, you can triple jump, you can soar through the sky, you can propel yourself into the air, you can do a 18 hit combo, you can do an air juggle, you can do all these things.
We got
Your character
Firaga,
becomes
we got Kiraga, we got,
yeah,
yeah,
you're a god by the end of it. And even if it doesn't reach those highs of like customizability, because I don't think the combat system is nearly as deep
for
as
sure.
like Kingdom Hearts, any of the Kingdom Hearts games are, maybe Kingdom Hearts 1. I still think that once you're grinding on rails and you've had like,
I
these
haven't gotten
these
to do that
windows
yet.
yeah, you get these like more narrow time frames in which you need to hit those challenging platform segments. I'm gonna have a good time completing those because that is always a very rewarding thing to do as someone who loves a 3D platformer.
For sure. Yeah, there were at the beginning of the game, the first few areas are very like residentially, like city-y, and the way that the platforming works with it is any of the roofs, if it's not a flat part of the roof, you just like fall. And I was getting
Yeah.
so frustrated. I was like, oh, this game is making it to where the platforming doesn't feel fun. But as I started to learn the way that they want you to be platforming, it's like, oh, I actually kind of like that there is like some kind of precision that is needed, but not for every kind of jump, but for certain ones, they kind of really make that landing space pretty small. And
Yeah.
if you fail, you got to start over and do the double jump, the dash, the long jump, etc. And I've found that that loop actually ends up being pretty fun once I've understood that's what they wanted of me.
Yeah, it's very polished in that way,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of one of my. There are 2 things that stood out in my time with the game so far, and they are both a combination of movement and level design that I thought was really, really impressive. And like we were talking about, we end up on these like linear paths where it's like you get point A, you want to go to point B so you can get to the next biome. But from time to time, that's not just a straight line. And one of the really early segments of the game, you're in this, enchanted fucking forest
Yeah.
and you're beelining it, you go straight ahead. And for the first time in the game, you reach a dead end. And I was like, where the fuck do I go? And then I look behind me and the answer is I need to get to the platform that I was on. I jumped down basically 2 platforms and ended up at this like dead end cave situation. Then as I looked behind me, I noticed that there was now a path down that had kind of revealed itself. So they were expecting you to get stuck here in this dead end and then turn around. You can see the path that you came from, but the path forward is actually directly behind you, but down.
Yeah.
And it's so like elegantly I'm explaining it and it sounds simple. And it's like, okay, bozo, turn around. But the way that it is actually like telegraphed to the player
Yeah.
is really, really nice. And there's a lot of segments like that. Similarly, there was like a water wheel puzzle that I didn't realize was going to loop me around the way that it did. So I went and I completed the puzzle and I'm jumping and I'm jumping and then I'm like, where the fuck do I go? And then the same thing, it was the place in which that like I entered that puzzle was the way out, but hidden under the entrance was like a ladder and a way to resurface and kind of like leave that area and get back
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah,
straight and
yeah.
narrow. Just really, really slick.
I do feel like that is kind of a lost art in a way with a lot of games of feeling rewarded by hitting a dead end or going the wrong way when in reality like it feels like it's the wrong way. It's like nope, actually this is the right way. But because I don't know, it might sound stupid, but I feel like it's a good like role playing type experience of like I'm actually
Yeah.
this character exploring this world that I have no idea where I am. I don't know what I'm doing, what I'm looking for. I know I'm trying to find my sister that is somewhere in this weird limbo-y type place. So yeah, I like that a lot. That does make me consider and wonder though, is there anything so far with the game that's kind of sticking out as a detriment or a problem for you so far?
No detriments, no problems. I am very of the mind of like even if there's things that I don't like, I think of them less as flaws with the game and more of like things that just don't interest me.
For sure. Yeah.
And I'm not like, wow, I gotta find out what happened to my fucking hero's sister. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's cool. We're pushing the story along and whatnot, but it's like a a fantasy world. It's kind of jolly and cheery, and there's some unforeseen dark circumstances, and the powers that be are trying to fight against the forces of light. It's all pretty like by the books, and it's written serviceably. It seems like it's really nice, but for me, it's like. Kingdom Hearts always did a great job of like it nails what Disney I think gets very very right. It's that they don't make kids movies, they make family movies. There's something
Sure.
in it for everybody. And this feels like it skews a little young. Like the person that's going to love this game's story is like 13 and perpetually online.
Sure.
Like
Sure. Yeah, that's a good way to put it though. I feel like I have a short list of things, but I think it's just things that aren't necessarily working for me and not necessarily issues with the game. Because like, again, if you listen to
sure.
Drop and Drop Out, I get very frustrated when there's no map. And the first 4 hours of this game, I was very frustrated that there was no map. But now I'm at a point where it's like, I see the vision. I see why there's not a map. And not from like a narrative standpoint, but from a experience standpoint of these biomes really aren't that big. And usually there's but maybe 3 ways to go. So it's like that following the left path, hitting the dead end to get the collectible to come back. It's not like you're having to go back through a maze of 9 different ways. So it's like it's one of the things I've come around on, but at first I was like, I feel like this game could benefit from a map.
Yeah, it's not without its issues too. I mean, I don't think that here's the problem is that I don't think that there's ever been a time where it's like, well, if we give you a map, it's going to ruin the gaming experience. It's like, well, you didn't put a fucking map in the game because that would be I would be lying to you if there wasn't multiple times already where I was platforming and then fighting something, and then I get to platforming again, and I go into the wrong fucking way. Like,
Yeah.
have I been here already?
Yeah.
Have I jumped on this? And typically, what I've learned is that if I'm not collecting new fucking currency,
That's the
then
trick.
I've probably already been here.
Yeah. 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 No, I've
Just collect your currency and you're good to go. But
I've
I've definitely
thought
gotten turned around.
Yeah, so many times I've been like, can you at least give me a pointer? And there are some pointers, but the pointers only
Mhm.
exist in very specific places where you ring a bell and then the camera will like point you. But I haven't seen those. Might have only been in the first biome because I've not seen one of
Yeah,
those bells in a long
bells
time.
seem to be few and far between. Dude.
Right, right. I also feel like
We fired the
again,
bell guy halfway through development. I don't
right.
know.
I feel like it's one of those things too, where I think it's another mileage may vary thing. And again, I see the vision, but I would also be lying if I didn't admit that I'm a bit tired of the clock motif already, where like the world is just
Sure.
riddled with clock stuff of like, whether it's the enemies, whether it's the items you're looking for, the world itself, the environments, the costumes, even where it's like, okay, I get it. We're in Tick Town. We're looking for this
Yeah.
person stuck in a giant clock thing. She built clocks, so our grandpa built clocks. Like, okay, I get the clock thing. But again,
Right.
that's a me thing. I'm sure that's one of those like some people won't care about that. Some people will love that. It's not quite working for me so far. And then
Let
the
me give you
only,
let me give you a hypothetical here
yeah, give it to me.
with your clocks. I was thinking about this, and then you started verbalizing it. I'm like, these kind of come together. And I was thinking about how like Kingdom Hearts has like these like big musical numbers in some ways. Like
Yep.
their like intros are like really really slick, and they have that, and that's something that Duskfade doesn't have at all. Would this game be enhanced if it opened up with like a montage set to Kesha's TikTok?
Yes.
Is that the name of the song?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it sounds right. But if that was the theme song of Tick Town, and it was like the lyrics were changed
I
a
think that
little
would go
bit,
crazy.
oh, it goes so crazy. Are you joking? Um, and then the other thing, which was a problem at first, but now I've kind of stumbled into it being a better experience. Um, we play a lot of video games. We know that there's all sorts of things that come with a video game. And one of those things, especially in something like a platformer or a game where there's combat, is the voice actors record effort sounds. Your
Yeah,
those kinds of sounds. Because this game is,
flip it.
as we were talking about earlier, can't clip that. This game wants you to be jumping and dashing and dodging all the time to move around the world faster. In my experience, playing this game with the sound on makes me want to jump out a building. Like it just all you do is just hear
Do they have audio
nonstop.
options?
They have very little audio options. And it's like, because I went through the settings to see, like, you know, so many games these days have like performance mode versus
Sure.
fidelity mode, whatever. And I went through and and it's, you know, it's an indie game. It's a small team. So they didn't prioritize them a bunch of settings. Maybe that's something that eventually they have. But what I've now stumbled into is that this game, in between like boss fights and story moments, it's a great podcast game where like I can listen to something, catch up on my stories while I
Yeah.
play the game, and I have the music on low, so like I can still hear it. I just don't have to hear the effort sounds all
Yeah.
over the place. And then it's like, oh, despair's on the screen. Pause the podcast, turn the game up. I gotta lock the fuck in.
Sure.
So again, it's like at the end of the day, I feel like I had this like short list of problems, and basically every single problem in some capacity I have come around on, at least to a degree where I'm like, I see the vision. Or in some ways, it's like, oh, it's actually
Tolerable.
kind of shown me a way to play the game that I like better now. So W
Yeah.
Duskfade.
Yeah. Last thing for me that I want to make sure that we cover, and I want to pick your brain on because you've experienced it more than me.
Yeah.
Boss fights.
Yes.
How do
So
they feel to you? Because I'm kind of impressed.
yeah.
A little
So
soulsy, dare I say?
tiny bit.
A little dodge sloppy.
Do you think from the like difficulty of it, or
No, just the mechanics.
just the mechanics? Yeah. You know, I like it. I think so I've done 2, I think, like major boss fights so far. Potentially a third that I'm forgetting, but something I do like about the boss fights that I feel like is maybe not wholly unique, but like something I feel like I've not seen a ton before. When you get the boss down to a certain health threshold, it then kind of throws you into a mini game of you
Yeah.
have to do this thing before you're going to start taking damage to progress the fight and activate phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 4, whatever. And I really have liked that so far in the
Dude,
boss fights. So like it's a good
it's good.
change of pace than just dodge, hit, dodge, shoot your shotgun blast, dodge, roll, etc.
Drink your fucking flask.
Exactly. Or now my 2
Yeah.
flasks because I've unlocked a second one.
Right. That's right. Good job exploring the cave of fucking Cum Dungeon 3.
Exactly.
Now you can get the good ending.
Yeah. But I feel like the boss fights are kind of a standout for me with the game so
Yeah.
far. And it's,
Yep.
you know, I yearn for maybe some more of them, but I'm also, at the end of the day, I'm not that far in. I'm just about a quarter of the way through the game. So if
Yeah.
the
Will you continue
trajectory
playing?
holds, I will. I think the only reason that I wouldn't continue playing is if I am surprised by another new release. But the good news is we're in August right now, and the next
Ooh,
game that I really want to play is in 2.5 weeks. So I
they
got time.
nailed the release time for this fucker.
Truly. So like I don't expect I would platinum this game, but I think I will beat it, and I will certainly not try to 100% it, but I think depending on how it gets its hooks in me as we progress, I might go back to those first few biomes and go down the rail once I can rail grind, go down the path with the orange rock, use the grapple hook, et cetera, et cetera. What about you?
Yeah.
You think you'll finish it? Because I know it's tough for
Yeah.
you to finish a game these days.
It is, but this fucking checks so many boxes for me. Like you
Yeah.
can draw if you go to my favorite games of all time and start to look at like drawing similarities to games that are on that list. It's fucking insane how many of them coincide. It's
Yeah.
like all my favorite things. Like I think about when I boot up stream, it is oftentimes I'm spinning a couple plates and I'm like, what game is calling to me right now? And it has been a rough couple weeks sitting on Duskfade. Like I could have easily just beat this fucking game already, but I am like, oh, I want to experience this like with chat. I want to stream it. I want to document it. I want to have my full playthrough out there because I think
Yeah.
it's going to be very special to me. But you know how it is sometimes when you get a game ahead of time, you might play through it and then the game comes out and it's like the allure is a little bit gone. Like I got my hands on time with it. I was there ahead of time. It's really cool. But speaking about release time, to finally bring up a series that we haven't talked about much this episode, Kingdom Hearts has release timing is impeccable. There's a Kingdom Hearts event this weekend that's now being live streamed.
Oh, I missed this.
Yeah, so initially it was going to be a behind closed doors panel at D23, the big Disney expo that happens every other year, alternates with Star Wars Celebration. Hour-long panel, like ready to go, and I thought it was going to be one of those situations like, you know, they do these at like Comic-Con. It's like a live blog from Hall H, and you have to like rely on people posting shitty pictures from Twitter of the stage and stuff like that. Announced just yesterday, Keeley and the Game Awards is gonna stream it to everybody on Saturday on August 15th on my fucking birthday. What a sweet surprise. But it's like it's so perfect for Duskfade again. Like they picked this August release date that is so free from any other big releases. It has its little time, its little indie moment to shine here, and then it's so tied in with the conversation around Kingdom Hearts, and then all of a sudden months after this release date was locked in, there's a Kingdom Hearts event coming up on Saturday. Just kind of like the conversation complements like, oh, you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, have you heard about Duskfade? Like I can just picture those conversations are going to be Kingdom Hearts and Duskfade for the next 5 days, and that's an exciting time for me.
Do you think there's a world in which, you know me, I love thinking of a hypothetical, is there a world in which we get a Kingdom Hearts 4, right? 4 demo, and it just takes all the wind out of Duskfade sales because people only want to play Kingdom Hearts?
No Kingdom Hearts demo this soon.
I think what's going to happen here, probably.
Yeah, this is like more like hype. Like if they do a Kingdom Hearts demo, it will follow the timeline of the Final Fantasy demos, which were like between like a month and 2 months ahead of time from release date. We'll be lucky if we get a release date or a release window for Kingdom Hearts 4 at this.
Yeah.
I think more realistically what we get is like a new, probably they'll call it like a story trailer that'll be similar to the other trailers, but it will reveal more of what's happening in the Kingdom Hearts universe. So we'll probably get our first world reveals. Smart money is they probably announce Marvel and or Star Wars, maybe one of the two, in addition to regular Disney. So you got your Mickey Mouses and your Donald Ducks, but do we have like does a lightsaber ignite during the next Kingdom Hearts trailer? You know what I mean? Does Tony Stark?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And I think the smart money is on yes as well. I do think that is
I mean, a Keyblade saber, dude, are you joking?
It fucking writes itself. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
To wrap,
really
I'm
cool
gonna have in the time codes, I'll have a little Kingdom Hearts 4 section. Do you think we get a date?
I think we get a window. I think we get like holiday 2027, if I were to guess. Maybe like March 2028. Square Enix really loves that like February to April for their big releases. That's where they put all of those Final Fantasy games over the past few years. And I think Kingdom Hearts will follow suit. Because I think they want the runway clear for Revelation, which seems imminent. That seems like it's going to be spring 27, so that will probably hit that February to April, so they'd want to put some breathing room there. But I think this is like, you know, expect this at Summer Game Fest next year, expect this at fucking Gamescom, might be like a hands-on in a few weeks or something like that. Tokyo Game Show, like I think this is the floodgates opening after that sort of re-reveal over at the Nintendo Direct during
Yeah.
SGF a few months ago.
And you were saying that this has been confirmed that it's happening Saturday, not a rumor that it's happening Saturday.
Yeah, though there's official art. This panel has been confirmed for about a month now, and the
Okay.
live stream was tweeted out by Keeley and the Game Awards and like the D23 and Disney and the Kingdom Hearts official accounts. It's happening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday, August 15th. And like they have like confirmed like Haley Joel Osment, the voice of Sora, is going to be there, his first public appearance for the franchise in a really long time. A rumored game director who is not Nomura. Nomura is possibly producing or co-directing. There's another man who is in charge of it, it seems like. And then to sort of tie it all together to like the Disneyfication of it all is people are really expecting D23 in general, and probably this panel as well, to focus a lot on the Epic Games Store, or the, I guess, like just the Epic company collaboration that they kind of signed off on 2 or 3 years ago at this point, sort of coming to fruition. So there has been rumblings in the industry about a Epic Games Disney extraction shooter.
Oh yeah,
Or
that's right. I've heard about this.
extraction game.
Yeah.
And people, some people think that it might be part of Fortnite because they're sort of like Epic Games. This is what that new Unreal Engine is like. The new Unreal Engine is like the Fortnite creator tools and Unreal in one plus AI is basically what they're doing. So it's like, it seems if you're going to be a popular multiplayer Epic game, it would make more sense to launch your game inside of Fortnite right now
Sure.
on Unreal than it would to do a standalone product through the Epic Game Store exclusively that you can't launch through Steam.
Yeah. Unreal.
But in addition to that, we have confirmation that there is a Fortnite season coming up. All but confirmed, Kingdom Hearts is a part of that season as well. So, are you up to snuff on this Fortnite season?
I know there's something about a banana, maybe.
That's this season. There's
That's
always a
this
banana.
season. There's always a banana.
Peely's always in there.
Peely's always in it. Okay, I don't
the
follow Fortnite very much.
Okay, so on the afternoon, it's a smaller event. It's not like the full season changeover event. But on August 15th at like 2:30 in the afternoon, there is a playable story event inside Fortnite, like they do from time to time. One of the smaller ones, because the Fortnite season doesn't turn over until like somewhere between the 20th and the 30th, so a couple days early. But they have officially announced that the next season of Fortnite is called Fortnite Override or Override. And it is a retro gaming inspired season of Fortnite with confirmed collaborations including Pac-Man, Tetris, Mega Man, Persona, Sonic the Hedgehog, Kingdom Hearts. It's fucking insane. It's insane.
That's good. And you said this is August 15th.
Most will be revealed on August 15th.
Goodness
and I think
gracious.
the vast majority of it will be in that Fortnite event and at the D23 panel.
Beware
and
the Ides
it's my fucking birthday.
I know. Beware the Ides of March, but welcome the Ides of August, I fear. It's lock in, gamers. August 15th going to be very, very good. Jake, to wrap up the conversation about Duskfade, are you willing and able right now to give this video game a score of 1 to 10?
Yeah, it's like an 8.5 for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I 8.5 based on hype. I don't see it dropping below a 7.5 in any way. I don't see it rising above a 9. You know, it's gonna be right in that range. Like this is an above average video game.
Yeah.
That is doing something that a lot of people have been looking for a long time, and I hope that audience that exists out there finds this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that lower end where like I would give this right now a solid like 7.5, and I think it has room to go up to like 8.5. I don't think it has room to go down below a 7 though. I feel like 7 is the floor for this, which is, you know, a very good game. You know, selfishly, I'm disappointed in myself that I chose this over Dinch Attack for Fantasy Critic, but maybe I'm surprised. Maybe we wake up tomorrow when this review is dropped and all the outlets drop their scored reviews and it ends up getting a better score than Dinch Attack. But I do feel like this is going to land in that 7 to 8 range, most likely, with my experience so far.
Do you know the price on this game?
I don't. Let me see real fast.
I do. I do. I want to see what you think it should be.
I feel like $39.99 makes sense for Duskfade for me.
This game is $29.99.
That's a great
price. And it has a fucking day one discount of 20% off. So it's $23.99.
That's
a fucking steal at that price,
a great price. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that is one of those things where, you know, I have no idea how much this game might have cost to make, but I feel like if they are taking a loss on it by selling it at that price, I think they should make up for it by selling copies, because I feel like that's a really good price point for what is
Yeah.
going to be at least a 20-hour 3D romp platformer.
Yeah,
Very good.
I agree.
Jake, any final thoughts on Duskfade before we go?
No, play Duskfade.
Play Duskfade. I think that is the ultimate message for both of us here. Once again, thanks to Fireshine Games for giving us the codes for Duskfade. And of course, again, go to dropanddropapod.com if you liked the conversation. If you want more conversations like this, we have episodes every Thursday on twitch.tv/Drop and Drop Out Pod, and Tuesdays as well, our news show, Spotlight Games. So go to Drop and Drop Out Pod, learn about all the things we're doing, get some merch, join the Discord. But before you do any of that, go play Duskfade. Jake, thank you for being here. What a lovely reunion to talk about some 3D platforming.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.